Is it normal for doctors to screw their patients?
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have asked that. If you're hearing our voices, it means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch terrible movies. So you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
Mm-hmm. I'm Jared.
So here we are with part two of what movie are we watching? A little bit of heaven.
A little bit of heaven. Yeah. How could you forget? Because this movie felt like a little bit of heaven.
Did it though?
No, it did not.
No.
In case you forgot.
Yeah. Go ahead. Recap us.
Because I know you did.
Yeah.
I'm sure the listeners did too.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a whole day at this point. So
at least 24 hours, you know?
When we left off, our hero, Kate Hudson, was continuing to be a monster to her mother, Kathy Bates.
Yeah. Come on, man.
In the hospital, just treating her like hot garbage.
Yep. 100%.
Don't care for it.
Nope. She's trying to be mom, you know?
And there's no I think that's the other thing that, we talked about before, how like Russ and I's dream is to have filmmakers listen to this and say, wow, thank you for giving us a good critique. The other thing here is like, this is the perfect kind of sequence to do a transition because they're giving us like a poignant, like portrayal of how Kate Hudson is how she feels about her mother. And they're like, that relationship is super complex. We could make something interesting out of that scene.
We could,
but yeah, but instead they just chop it. And they're like, oh, well, on to the next one.
And
we're on to Cincinnati.
Yep. Next out of Cincinnati. Yeah. Next bit of dialogue. Move it on.
Yeah. And so we're like, then we're at work again with her boss or whatever. Who cares? No, I don't care about anything in this movie.
Yeah, no, I don't care at all. So this is important though, right? Because it is important. But so she's back at work and she's having a conversation with her boss. We think it's her boss, right? Mm-hmm. Guy from Wings. And she hands him a card.
Which, the poem, roses are red, violets are blue. I've got ass cancer. Now you know too. Jesus.
Come on.
Like, why you got to do him like that? He didn't seem like that much of a bad guy.
Yeah, like, I can make it awkward. I was like, okay. But this is important.
He's like, you should have come to me.
Yeah,
oh my God, I'm stunned. You should have come to me and talk. We could talk about this. Like, I'm so sorry.
Well, it's still playing up her like childish kind of perspective on it. And, like, she's just not taking it serious, right?
True.
Ugh.
But give Wings guy some credit here because I think he was trying. Like earlier in the movie, again, we don't know anything about any of the characters enough to care about them. But earlier in the movie, he seems like a garbage person. But then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, wait, no, he does care about her. He is invested in, the relationship they have. He's invested in all of it because then he gives her a great idea. He's like, oh, did you know you can cash out your life insurance?
Yeah.
If you're still alive.
Which, by the way, amounts to how much?
$1 million.
$1 million.
Which, now,
is
factual inaccuracy here.
500 after taxes, but yeah.
That's what she's saying. However, that's what that's the big joke of the movie. Life insurance payments usually aren't taxable.
Oh, good call.
So I don't think she'd actually, I think she would have had actually like $1 million. Hey,
if you're a life insurance person, you want to correct us, let us know.
Yeah. Second wish come true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Please, if you're a life insurance salesperson, I could use some.
And if you're in the workforce and you have a life insurance, probably double check it. Take a look at it,
We know Russ could use some.
Jesus. Definitely good, right?
Yeah. I'll die earlier, but he's already 40, so.
I think that's an insult. I'm not sure.
No, it's an insult to both of us.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I think we're going to keep this podcast going possibly for the rest of our lives. And for me, that's like another 40 years at most, probably.
40 years? Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you've probably got another 50 or 60.
You're gonna have to find a new you're gonna have to find a new other host in like 20-ish years from now.
Are you gonna get? Okay, well,
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know.
are you gonna become unable to do the podcast?
I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. We'll see.
We'll work on it. Try and prevent that.
I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna talk to Elon Musk and other people who know how to survive longer than life.
I'll try to outlive you. You try to not be a demented old man.
I feel like it's too late. So she gets her $1 million. Wish number 2.
Yeah, granted.
Stupid fucking wish number 2. Damn it.
Stupid MacGuffin.
This movie is like making me swear again, which I've been very good at not swearing, but
I know, me too.
This is so stupid.
Well, the other thing is like you would think, so spoilers for the next scene, you would think if you get $1 million, you could do some interesting things. Instead, they go to the mall.
Yeah, it's like friend shopping spree montage.
Yeah.
I'd be like, how about we rent a boat and let's rent a goddamn boat and just cruise around.
Oh, let's do one of those planes that does like the zero gravity thing. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That's expensive.
Let's go into space. I don't know, man.
Yeah, we could totally go to space for $1 million.
I think so. Right?
I think so.
Branson's making it cheap. We can do it. We can be like, come on, Brans.
Yeah. Your buddy Elon Musk.
Bring him. Let's do it. Ugh.
Yeah.
I actually don't like him anymore.
Anyways, no one does.
No one does. No one should.
Yeah. Shout out to Elon Musk. Fuck you. But come on the podcast, talk about Emerald Mines, maybe.
Anyway, so we're in a shopping montage. You're gonna have to probably fill this one. My brain stopped working at this point.
So,
I can't take it anymore. And then the pregnant,
she's with her mom.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. She's with her. You say the pregnant friend. Yeah. She's with her mom
friend.
And all her friends.
Pregnant asshole friend. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, your friend's got cancer. It's dying. Come on, being a jerk.
Yeah. Her friend's like, I don't think I can handle this right now. Which, sure. Like, I get it. It's hard to be, it's hard to be close to someone who has cancer and is going to die. It's also more difficult to be that person who's dying, but
yeah, right. Like there's always that one. There's always that one friend who can't handle it. I can't handle your death. I have to leave.
Yeah. And like, you're both allowed to have feelings. We shouldn't invalidate that person's feelings because the other person's dying.
100%. This is true. Right.
But this is it's shopping spree day. It's like time to have a little party. You're having a fun time.
Come on.
I don't know. And then her, pregnant friend talking to the other friends, redhead friend, and like she said she's having a hard time. Like, luckily they're totally sympathetic for a change. Yeah. She's like, I can't deal with this.
That's fine.
But she just kind of backs out.
And she's like, I don't want to ruin her fun because I can't handle this. Hey, you know what? That's totally fine. Totally,
But, and then this is also the scene where she kind of backs out for the rest of the movie. They imply more from this scene than is actually communicated in this scene.
Yes, because then she just disappears and that's it. We don't see her till the very end, right? I think.
Exactly, yeah. It's like it's implied now that this is the moment she chooses to disengage with her friend that has cancer's life.
Yes.
And it's, I don't know, it's pretty messed up, but also like the rest of the scene's messed up too, because then as soon as she leaves, that's when we get Kate Hudson there yelling at her mother again, always yelling at Kathy Bates about how like, well, you're always bitching about how dad can't confront anything and you can't confront that I'm fucking dying here. They don't say that, but I was getting frustrated.
Yeah, no, I was too. And she can't cook a steak either. Come on, Kathy Bates. Academy Award winning Kathy Bates know how to cook a steak.
Yeah, poor Kathy Bates because she's just trying to be a good mom here. She's
trying to rebuild the relationship, which has clearly got a little myths in it there. So
and this is when we get it threw me for a loop because this is when we get the she drives me crazy. She's your mom bit from the trailer.
Yes.
But it means something so much different when you actually watch the movie. Like in the trailer, it's played as like a gag,
a joke.
Like
right,
yeah,
right.
You're like, oh no, it does not play the same way.
No, like the context is totally different, and it's like
the context is like you were being kind of a monster to your mother who's trying to help you, and
Yeah.
It's a hard time for everyone.
Yes. But this is also a thing where I'm going to note it because like this shuffle, right? So Kate Hudson, they walk out and then her friend's like, oh, she's like, it's driving me crazy. And her friend is like, yeah, well, she's your mom. That's what moms do. This line comes back later at Kate Hudson.
To eat her in the ass, yeah.
Yep. That's an interesting choice of...
That's the expression goes. So then Marley collapses on the sidewalk.
Yep.
And again, no transition to the hospital.
We're at the hospital.
And this is when we get our hilarious evil doctor here being like, shop till you drop's just an expression, right?
This scene, I didn't write. I wrote very minimal notes in this. This scene pissed me off. I was so irritated by this whole scene. And maybe that was the point, but the fucking nurse trying to like...
Oh, she's complicit in bad doctor's actions here. First of all,
so irritating.
Second of all, how could she not find a vein?
Like, it's right there. I can see it. I can see it from here.
Yeah, I can see Kate Hudson's veins.
From here. Oh, it was so It was so annoying, and it was like obviously they were like ratcheting up like annoyance and attention, but it was like this is
yeah.
There's no relief from this. This is just obnoxious, and it's like someone trying to stick a needle in your arm and they can't do it. It's like, Jesus, nurse, you're a terrible drug dealer.
Yes, it's frustrating. And this is when we get our good doctor starting to notice that bad doctor is flirting with his patient, which you shouldn't do if you're a doctor.
You shouldn't do that. That's a PSA for all the doctors that are listening to this. So
yeah, we have at least one doctor I know, well, sometimes two, that listen to this podcast. Don't flirt with your patients.
Yeah, don't do it. That's not a good idea. And then but then our villain doctor, who's the guy of the situation, he asks her out. Right.
Of course. Well, kind of. He's like, oh, it's not a date. Can you come to this cancer fundraiser with me?
He's terrible. He's terrible.
Like someone should report this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Like, how could he be? He's not interesting at all. He's so boring and so just terrible.
Yeah. And no one's flagging this as problematic behavior. Like the friend comes back over and she's like, oh, how hot was that guy? Like only in your world can doctors be hot like that? And like Grey's Anatomy.
Like what? Come on.
Okay, sure. So then we cut back to her house and she's deleting voicemails from her dad, right?
Yeah. So yes. So she's with her neighbor friend
Peter.
Yes. Not Peter Dinklage, but
right.
Not
Underwear Peter.
Underwear. Is that his name? Peter?
Yeah, his name is Peter in the movie.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so they have a moment, and I don't know.
They say it like twice.
Yeah, and yeah, we have no idea who's anyone's name is. So with neighbor, and they have a moment, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's
He said he's going to make her Italian food, and it kind of felt like an innuendo. But I don't know.
I'm not sure. So. And then and it's really weird because she's still at home, and then he disappears, and it cuts to her now on a computer doing internet research. She's basically IMDbing. She's like WebMDing, cancer, and she's like survival rate chart.
Sick.
Like, Jesus, all right,
she looks sickly at this point.
Yeah, that's a depressing internet search.
Mm-hmm. She's in rough shape.
How's that doing? How's that treating you? How's that all that ice treating you?
Good. Yeah. Okay. Drinking a nice beverage. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Coca-Cola and Smirnoff. who may sponsor us someday.
Yeah. When worlds collide.
Yeah. I've switched from beer in case the podcast starts to go off the rails, dear listener.
You'll know why.
Yeah. We switched it up and tried something new. Send us an email.
Yeah, we just got to amp it up to the situation. So, all right. So she's looking at the internet.
He's going to make her Italian food.
Yeah, he's going to make her Italian food. Never does. She's looking at charts that are just not very good charts, Not the charts you want to, not the charts you want to show to your, your C-suite, right? And be like, hey, man, survival rate.
He's very specific about if you like if someone knocks at the door later on, answer the door later on.
Oh, does he say that?
Yes. He's like, I'm coming back with Italian food. Don't you worry. I know how much you like Italian food. When I knock at the door later on, make sure you open it because it's me with Italian food.
Oh, I missed all that because I stopped paying attention because I didn't care anymore.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to the movies you're watching.
And then there's a knock at the door, and we get Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, surprise with Italian food. Just kidding.
This is yeah, and he's a male gigolo.
TBD. I thought he was a sex worker at first, but then,
which is the proper terminology, which I was,
probably. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, gigolo's in the title of a movie, so I think you're allowed. I don't know. If you're a sex worker, send us an email.
They don't. It's fine.
So listen to the podcast. I don't know. Anyway, his name's Vinny. His name's Vinny, and he brought her flowers, which is adorable.
That's awesome.
And this is when I realized apparently the friend's name is Peter.
I had no idea.
I think this is when she said something like, "Did Peter send you?" I was like, "Oh, that's the guy's name." Most of the way through the movie. Yeah,
all these characters we're supposed to care about, but we don't know their names.
And then this is the infuriating part.
What do you got?
Of Peter Dinklage introducing himself to her, and his nickname is a little bit of heaven. And I was like, wait a second. The sex worker she hires?
We could skip. I think right now we could spend the next 10, 15 minutes talking about this because this is more interesting. And then we can skip everything else and then just jump to the very end and then call it.
Probably. Right?
Because so the name of the movie is A Little Bit of Heaven.
Yep.
Is the movie about Peter Dinklage?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And I expect A Little Bit of Heaven 2, Electric Boogaloo, to come out soon and explain this.
This movie should at this point just shift to Peter Dinklage's perspective and just be following him as a male gigolo.
I would love that movie.
That movie sounds awesome.
It sounds a little Rob Schneider-y, but
but you throw in some type of like crime, something's gone wrong aspect. Not
sure.
Like, yeah. It's not a comedy. It's like a dark comedy. You know what I mean?
Maybe some real fantasy. It's not like a death at a funeral situation. It's more of a Game of Thrones situation.
Well, I don't know. Do we want that kind of fantasy going on?
He was in Death at a Funeral, right? The remake. I can't remember now.
Oh boy.
I worked on that movie marketing back in the day.
Oh shit. Good for you. So
thanks, bud.
I love it. It's great. So we get Peter Dinklage, and he's a boss. He comes in, drops a jacket, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Just drops on the floor. He's a badass. And they're hanging out, and she's not having it. And like this whole nothing here does anything until the next.
Well, then they start to get along, and she tells him that she has cancer. And he's like, "Oh shit. Well, that's not so scary. I died twice and they brought me back both times." I was like, wait a second. I want to watch that movie.
Yeah. Was that Game of Thrones? Did he come back? Tyrion Lannister? Did he come back?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't remember.
I want to watch that movie. And he's talking about his experience with death where he's like, no, it's not like there's no bright lights. There's no angels. It was like, I could have floated there forever. It was like in just in the water floating.
Yeah. He's just floating in water and that was it. And then that was it.
And then he goes, "Oh, nice to meet you, Marley," and walks out. And you're like, wait a second.
And scene.
Yeah. But then he comes back.
Yeah. And so he's dished out his life advice and then she pulls him back and then they're playing cards and hanging out.
Inexplicably.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Yeah. They're playing cards and he's just dishing out some life advice and pretty much explains to the audience, like her flaws, character flaws. We're literally minute-wise halfway through the movie, and we have this random character who was there for a gag to start, is now inexplicably explaining to her who she is.
Correct. As far as I know, he's talking about like how most of the romances in history end in death. He gives a good list of romances. Did you pick up on this?
No.
He's talking about Romeo and Juliet. He's talking about he didn't. I don't think he said OJ and Nicole, but he might as well have. Because like the next one was kind of like that, and then he goes, "Oh, Siegfried and Roy," and then Kate Hudson, quick to say, "Roy's not dead. Roy's dead now." Actually, and Siegfried's dead now too.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, man. They're both dead.
That's it.
Yep.
No more trained tigers.
Yeah, 2011 was a different time.
Wow. Yeah. If they only knew 10 years later.
Yes. No, Roy died last year, and Siegfried died in January.
Well, I knew one of them died, but I didn't hear the other one.
Yep. So,
Jesus.
Anyway, Vinny seems cool. I'm down with Peter Dinklage's character. Yeah, dear listener, if you're a big Siegfried and Roy fan, send us an email because I'm interested to hear your story. Why? What got you into that?
Maybe you were in Vegas one time with your family. You caught a show. I don't know, man.
Yeah, tell us that story. I'll take any story.
Okay. So Vinny leaves, and then that's it. We see Peter Dinklage is gone forever. That's it. He just drops some serious advice, and then that's it.
That was when they do all the fake sex stuff, and then he leaves. Yeah.
Yeah, from the trailer, the one big joke, and it was not funny, and it wasn't funny in the movie either. It was kind of annoying. I had to like turn down the volume. I was like, "This is annoying."
Yeah, super annoying. And then then he walks away, never to be seen again, and commercials.
Lots of commercials. They were so long.
They were very long.
And then we end up basically cutting to. So I think we missed
this. We're at the fundraiser.
Yeah, we're at a fundraiser, but we didn't mention this earlier that the villain doc.
No, you talked about it. You said that he invited her to a a date.
Oh,
yeah, you said. Good on you.
Oh, fuck. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Better than I thought.
We didn't talk about it extensively, though. We didn't explain it was a fundraiser for cancer.
Okay.
We just explained that it was inappropriate.
Yes. So she shows up, and Doc is still trying to, work the bad jokes, and they're fucking terrible. And it's like,
yeah,
all right, we get it. He's going to land one at the very end, and it's going to be, the one.
Yeah, and it's not here.
All right, so we're at the fundraiser.
And Real Doctor is finally going to come down on him hard, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is when I figured the whole thing was going to blow up as a charade, right? Of Bad Doctor, the villain here, finally going to get his comeuppance. So being like, hey, what you shouldn't be doing? Flirting with your patient.
Yeah.
Because doesn't that seem unethical?
That seems a little unethical, right?
And Real Doctor kind of comes down on him, but is still kind of giving him some outs here, which I don't know, but informed her that she quit the trial. And that was news to him. The experimental treatment that she was doing.
Yeah.
She's no longer interested in.
Yeah. And that was it. That was the only purpose of that whole entire scene. 'Cause I thought it was gonna be like a good doctor telling a villain doctor here, "Hey, man," and then she'd overhear it, and then he would, and that would cause a tension of like he's like, "I'm gonna, what? You're right. I shouldn't be involved with a patient."
Yes.
That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Same. And then instead he walks over to Kate Hudson and goes,
"Let's get out of here."
He's like, "Hey, what's up?" Well, she says, "You want to get out of here?" And he goes, "Yeah, definitely."
Sure do.
No.
Yeah, there's an expiration tag on you. Let's do this.
God damn it, Gail.
And then they go dancing.
Yeah. So she goes to surprise him in a dark alley, which read into that what you will.
She basically mugged him. I wrote nothing. I just, at this point, I was like, this movie is painful. So I was ready to move.
I mean, the club looked horrible. He's lost in the sea of people. Poor Dr. Julian. They're dancing. It seems like he's having a good time. Maybe.
I don't know, man. Who enjoys those places?
I don't.
Me neither.
Just
there's people out there. That's fine. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I mean, we're a small.
If you if you're club people, let us know what the appeal of club is. Is it ecstasy?
If you enjoy shitty music pulsing through your brain,
let us know.
Let us know. And then I think we end up Kate and Doc go for a walk.
They go for a walk with some real questionable and problematic dialogue. No one should watch this movie.
Right. So they go for a walk. This is after the club, I think. It's late night.
It's directly after the club, yes.
So, hey, you know what? Hey, we're going to go for a walk in the water here. And then she drops the old to a doctor. Hey, you believe in God?
Yeah, the old 2 a.m. Do you believe in God?
It's we've all gone through it. We've all asked it. We've all said it, right?
Yeah. And we get the classic, I don't know, why?
I mean, of course, he first prefaces it with like, well, I'm a man of science and blah, 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 and logic and all this sort of stuff. And he's like, well, but then me? I don't know.
Yeah. I glossed over that because it was stupid and didn't add anything.
Yeah.
Like this movie's so poorly written.
So bad. It is so bad. So they have this exchange and then
she's like, I really envy people who believe in God because, they don't live with any fear. And you're like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. Yeah. I mean, if we really want to get into it.
Yeah. I was like, what do you... I hate all of this.
I mean, fear might be the lead. Anyways, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to be smart, and they're trying to make it like a way bigger movie than it is, and it's not.
No, it's like, why would you bring this up? Why is this a thing?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, let's go home and have sex.
Yeah. So then they have this conversation, and she drops the rom-com line of like, I'm just worried that you leave tonight and we won't have kissed.
Wildly unethical on his part to kiss her then.
Yep, 100%.
Which she does.
She does. So they do. And that's it. I don't know. And then they're
then it's the next morning.
Well, no, actually it transitions to them. They're having sexual content.
Oh yeah. I thought we talked. Yeah.
PG-13 sexual content. That's actually, right. Yeah.
It's like movement.
Yeah. It's artfully shot, blue light, blue. There's a lot of, it's very blue.
Yeah, very blue, shirtless man, bra woman.
Yeah.
Keep it PG-13.
Yeah. So they do it. And then we wake up the next morning. I was like, by the way, I don't know if you, they had zero chemistry.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He's terribly awkward.
Yes. I mean, he actually played up the awkwardness to level 11. And I was like, maybe you should bring it down a notch and no. So it's awkward.
Yeah, and it's the next morning.
And they have some pillow talk time, right?
Yeah. So this is a date, right? Because earlier they were talking about how it explicitly wasn't a date, but it really was the whole time.
This is so painful. You can probably tell by the way we're kind of piecemealing our way through this. We're like, let this be over. Please let this be over. For
the love of God, please let this be
We're not even close. But the one good thing we do get out of this next morning pillow talk thing, they're having a little thing, and then we get some naked yo-yoing. He's a big yo-yo guy. He's a big dork. She calls him out on it.
Right.
And he's doing yo-yoing, and we get a really funny shot. Well, I guess because it's PG-13. We get a shot from behind him naked, but his ass is kind of shadowed out. And it's
yeah, works every time.
Can you not show ass in a PG-13 movie?
I don't think so, yeah. Again, if the MPAA is listening, let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And this is when she finally tells him that she quit the trial, and they have a little moment of well, I guess this is just our relationship now, and we're going to have a fun time unethically as possible.
And then here we go. Cue the rom-com montage.
Yeah. She's like, I know I'm going to die. That's why I quit the trial. I want to have quality of life. Let's montage my quality of life.
Yeah.
Random stuff. Let's go.
Let's just fucking do it. We've seen a lot. We've seen a couple rom-com montages, and this was, pretty generic. Hey,
they're eating stuff.
We're doing stuff. We're painting. We're throwing powdered sugar in each other's faces.
Yeah, hanging out with the dog, having a little dance.
Yeah.
What happened to the good doctor?
The only problem with this montage is someone's going to end up dead at the end of it. Ooh.
Right. And speaking of dead people, what happened to the good doctor? Did he die? Why is he not stepping in here? Because this montage seems like it's taking place over a couple weeks, maybe, right?
Oh yeah. We're working in months now, I think.
I think so. And like, why isn't anyone stepping in and saying, "Hey, you shouldn't have that kind of relationship with your patient"?
Yeah, and did anyone give her like a timeline? Because if
not yet.
We didn't get a timeline. Okay.
We do get a timeline soon.
What's that? We do get one soon. So, and then we end up at
we're at the friend's house.
Yeah, friends and barbecue time. So, yeah, that's it. I don't know. And then
it's the pregnant friend, but it's the other friend, the not pregnant friend, that comes over and giving her a little perspective, talking about priorities in life and how, like, you know, actually maybe settling down and having kids does seem like a good choice for me. Not realizing that Marley is dying.
Yeah. Or it's like the shittiest fucking thing you could, like, you know what? They got a pretty great life. You know what? That's, I think, might be the life I want.
Yeah. Like, right. You're going to be dead soon.
Yeah. I mean, you won't enjoy that, but I just want to let you know that I might think about enjoying that.
Brutal.
Womp womp. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And again,
did you really forget that your friend has fucking cancer and is dying? Like,
it seems like it.
Why would you be like, you know what? Their life looks perfect. You know, and I can't wait to live that life. Oh, oops.
Ooh. Gotcha.
You want a slice of pizza or a hot dog?
Yeah. Yes. It's the hot dogs of that.
Basically, it comes down to all these people are jerks.
Yes.
As most people. And then we get Kate thinking, right?
Right. Well, yeah, Kate thinks about it. There's no transition until they just wake up the next morning. She's with bad doctor in bed. She escapes down to a river somewhere where, like, the sun is streaming through their blinds, right? Like, it seems like it's the morning.
I don't know.
But then she goes to a river or pond in the park, and it's like very dark. I don't know.
I saw it was early morning, you know. She's just, you know, thinking. She's thinking in bed. She left bed in the morning. She went down to the water. She sat on a bench. She's thinking, you know.
Yeah, the timing makes no sense to me.
No.
Then she
go ahead.
Well, then she goes to visit her mother again, right?
Yes. Yep. So she's back at home. Her and mom are, you know, and then they have a spat. They go at it.
Yeah, which, first of all, before the spat, what happened to Kathy Bates's allergies here? She's like playing with the dog now, and
that's a good point.
That was a huge plot point 20 minutes ago.
I mean, Academy Award winning Kathy Bates can trick you like that.
Maybe it's a Kathy Bates trick.
She got us. She tricked us.
You're right. You're so right.
I don't know what to tell you, man. Sorry.
No, but like, even Kathy Bates sucks in this movie. That's the point I'm trying to drive home here.
Which is terrible.
It's bad enough. Yeah. It's bad enough to make Whoopi Goldberg and Kathy Bates look bad.
Ugh. Paycheck movie.
Nightmare.
Hate it. And then, so mom and Kate have a little bit of a spat. We have Kate barking about how mom's made the poor decisions and that dad's, you know, quote unquote, the man's emotionally constipated.
Mm-hmm.
I think in like writing that out, it sounds good, but then when you say it out loud, it just sounds stupid.
Really doesn't land. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't land. It's just like, come on. He's, you know, emotionally enough.
Just trying to live.
Yeah. And then we end up again.
Zoo?
This movie just cut so weirdly.
Oh, we're at the zoo. There's monkeys. Cool.
Cool. So Kate Hudson just yelled at her mom, and now we're at Kate is hanging out with her friend's kid. Who? Wait, hold on a second here.
This is the pregnant lady's kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. She's hanging with the pregnant lady's kid, who basically just like swore her off. So that means she met with her already to pick up the kid to go watch her.
Disagree. She might have just sat in the driveway and been like, "Send out the girl.
Send out."
How much for the women?
Because we haven't seen the pregnant friend, right? And since the mall or like and she was like, I can't take.
She's dead
this.
to us.
Yeah, I can't take this. But then Kate is now actually hanging out and watching the kid for the day, which, as we know from the beginning of the movie, that just means that she's letting her friend have sex. But what the fuck?
One would think.
So that is zoo, and her and the little kid are being absolute assholes to the chimpanzees in the cage. Like,
for sure.
Don't be they're just yelling at it. It's just stuff. You're being jerks. And then
the evil doctor shows up.
Evil doctor shows up and
he's saying to the kid, "Oh, you look very pretty today." So this is where like I like this movie in ways because some of it's like, "Oh yeah, good feminism. I appreciate this," and then a lot of it's not. But like this one scene where he's like, "Oh, you look very pretty today," and Kate Hudson goes, "Well, what do you say?" And the little girl goes, "And I'm smart too."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, nice." I like that. That was funny.
Yeah.
This girl's the best actor in the movie.
Yeah, hands down. And then I don't know if you have much.
You get the deterioration, right, of the relationship. This is when is it normal for doctors to screw their patients?
Was this before or after the best part of the movie though, where the chimpanzee's just peeing?
Oh, after. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean to skip over that for you.
Yeah, I think that was the most important. Like, I really want to call that out. And then the chimpanzee's just peeing, and that's it.
Right. Then they start having their big fight, right, in the park.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck, man? This movie's.
She's like, "I'm still dying, and he's like, "Well, sure."
Yeah. But
we're all dying.
We're all dying every day, right?
Yeah, and he's like, "But I love you," and that's when we get the whole Marley can't say "I love you" thing because she.
It's so fucking obnoxious.
She wants to make this movie drag on longer, right?
Yeah, and then
she asks him what kind of guy falls in love with a dying girl.
Yeah, and she's basically kind of just being a real jerk. And now this is the moment where she's just pushing. I think this is the beginning of her just pushing everyone away, right? So,
well, does it start when he pushes her down and she falls down in the park?
He does attack her, right?
He does attack her.
Yeah, not at all. She just falls over and she's crying and yelling, and she just yells.
And then she says, "Leave me alone," and runs away with the little girl.
It was so painful. It was so brutal. I don't want to watch that scene ever again.
No. But then back at home,
and then we're back at home.
Pregnant friend, right? The big house.
Yeah, I just wrote she I don't actually know what this next scene is, but I was like, "Oh, Kate and friends," and she's just pretty much just shitting on everyone that's close to her.
Well, right. This is when she has her first big confrontation about how her friend hasn't been there for her. She's like, "Oh yeah, remember that time you left in the store and didn't say anything to me?"
Yeah, well, so she's going through like this whole arc of very quickly, right? Like this she's destroyed or she's ruined the relationship with her and her mom, right? And then she's broken up with a guy and yelled at him, right? And like, he's get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Now it's like she just basically goes around the rounds of like yelling at all of her friends, pretty much.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
All right. So at this point, she kind of like falls apart a bit, and she's pretty much just pushing away everyone that's in her life, right? All of her friends. It's Correct. Very clear. It's like she's pushing everyone away and like, dealing with what she's got to deal with. And then, so when she pushes everyone away, there is a great her getting drunk while she's biking scene.
Yep. Which did you? So she's out drunk biking, right? And there's that car behind her honking, and then the car is in front of her honking,
like annoying.
If you didn't notice, it's the same car.
Yes,
I think that's a goof. I think that's an editing goof.
Yeah, 100% is.
Right?
Yeah.
So stupid.
It's so annoying. So she's like over the top. I think, well, great on Kate Hudson. I think she did all of her biking stunts herself. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great.
What a struggle. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. No, she biked on the sidewalk. I think she did that.
It's good for representation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think in this scene, she was biking kind of awkwardly with a bottle of booze,
Yep. Yeah.
I think it's cool. It's like, I think it's,
Yeah, represent the drunk bike drivers out there. It's not like it's the same as a DUI. It kind of is, but it's not.
Definitely, you definitely can get a ticket for that. By the way, PSA, you can get. Not that I have not.
And then she dies again, or seemingly dies again.
Yeah, so she's like in the middle of the road. There's cars honking its horn. It's really actually everyone's being annoying. This whole situation is fucking annoying. I was so irritated by this, and then
agreed. And
I was like, I think she's gonna get hit by a car.
Oh, for sure.
And I was like, it's not, you know?
Yeah. And then
cancer isn't inevitable. It's just being stupid is inevitable.
Yeah. Dying is inevitable. One way.
Inevitable.
Inevitable?
You're right. Dying is inevitable.
Yeah.
How you get there doesn't matter.
Yeah. Listeners, if you're afraid of death, let us know. Because... it's okay. And I'm happy to talk to you about that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll work through it together. Right.
Yeah. Don't worry. Russ doesn't read most of our emails. I'll read the emails.
I definitely don't read.
Don't worry. Care. I'll be the one reading and responding to you. So dear listener, I care.
I don't give a shit. So she's biking along and then all of a sudden she it looks like she got hit by a car, basically. And we're to think that she got hit by a car. And it's like, the old bait and switch.
Yep.
And she's back in the clouds. She's back in the clouds. That's because that's where heaven is.
Yeah, Whoopi style.
And she's chatting with Whoopi. And I don't know actually what was said here.
So this is when she talks about how she's scared of dying. And Whoopi says, well, everybody dies. You're like, well, big thanks, Whoopi.
Yeah. You already made you already made the taxes joke. It's like death and taxes. It's like, that's it. So
yeah, not helping. And then Whoopi basically talks her into loving the doctor. She's like, well, don't you love the doctor? And he's like, well, he's kind of okay, I guess.
The villain.
No, he's a bastard. Right.
Yeah. He's taking advantage of a sick woman.
Right. But no characters have been developed thus far.
Nope.
Somehow they're in love. She asks if she's in love, and she's like, I think so. And you're like, oh, that's news to the viewer.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm glad you told us now because we had no idea.
Yeah, and then Whoopi says, oh, well, the car didn't hit you after all, and then sends her right back.
And then we cut to the one scene that actually made me LOL. Her biking, running into a sign and flipped
ruthless.
Over. Yeah, it was totally brutal. It was like, I think she just broke her neck.
Still a rough accident. Yeah.
I think she just broke her neck.
Especially for someone who's already sick. Like, I don't know.
Right.
It seems like we should be more concerned about that.
Yeah, I was like, she's not getting him from that one.
No.
She's down. She's done.
But she's fine. And how are there 30 minutes left?
And then there's, right? There's still 30 minutes left. And then there's commercials.
More than that, yeah. At the hospital that he's inexplicably still allowed to practice at after having sex with one of his patients. Like, I don't understand. Like weeks have gone. Russ thinks months have gone by.
I mean,
some large amount of time has gone by where he's continuing to have sex with his patient, and nobody's saying anything about this.
He's probably already on to the next patient. He's just
really messed up. He's a predator. He's a predator.
He's probably found the next cancer patient. He's like, hey, I get some treatment for you.
Yeah, and this is when she goes to tell him. She's like, I care now. Okay.
So this whole thing. So and this kicks off, by the way. So we just went through the whole her shitting on all of her friends and pushing them away, and now we go immediately. So she had the Whoopi conversation and the bike accident, and now she immediately goes into this. Kicks off the consecutive scenes of her fixing all of the relationships she literally just shit on, right?
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
It's pretty annoying, but yeah. So she ends up at the doctor's office. She goes to talk to Doc here, and she's got like a cartoon character. She's got like a fucking cold thing on her head with her mom brings her in.
Yep. And
she goes and talks to Doc, and isn't she wasted?
I don't think so. I think she's sober at this point.
You think so? You think a flip over or a church sign sobers you up?
I think that did it. I think it was enough.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
she
it's
was
like having a
literally,
cup of coffee.
she was 5 minutes before that. She was absolutely wasted drinking whiskey.
Yeah, we've already been problematic enough about drinking in this episode. I think it's enough. I'm going to commit to that.
Okay, that's fair.
She's
and
probably
then,
fine now. It seems like it's been at least a couple hours, maybe. I don't know.
Definitely not. So then so she meets the doctor. She goes up to the doctor and the villain, and she basically just explains her emotional state and the reasons for why she is. And it's like, cool, great, which we know, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. And like in front of all the people in the elevator, there's people in the elevator on the way up. There's a lot of kissing, and then it's like, oh, you know what? This is when she finally realizes, you're my third wish. I love you.
Yeah.
So then again, we don't transition. Why would we bother transitioning, right?
We haven't yet over the last 60 fucking scenes. Why now?
Yeah. Why bother starting? Right.
Now?
So like, oh, we're driving in the car. I'm driving in the car with Kathy Bates again. My mom talking about masturbating as a child.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Academy Award winning Kathy Bates driving a car like.
Sorry, you're right.
Academy Award winning Kathy Bates driving a car like
she's doing a good job.
She's doing a great job, right? And yeah, and then we get super
10 and 2, 10 and 2,
10 and 2, paying attention, you know. Yep. And then we get the old
masturbating as a child.
Are you
dying, Russ? Are you dying, Russ?
I might be.
Then you don't understand.
It was such a they're just in the car and
I agree with you. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
I know you are. And Kate Hudson literally just looks at Kathy Bates. Is like, "Do you remember how I used to masturbate all the time?" I was like, "What?"
And Kathy Bates goes, "I remember."
What?
And then she goes, "Remember that time you told me not to ever again? My whole life, I think that was the only time you were a bad mom." And then immediately follows it up with, "Will you help me plan my funeral?"
And then we also get a throwback. And then we get a throwback to the line, and Kate Hudson to her mom is like, I apologize for being a jerk daughter, blah blah. And then the mom and Kathy Bates
totally
drops the old, "You're a daughter, it's your job." We heard this earlier. She's your mom. It's your. It's just. Ugh. I was also waiting. By the way, I was waiting for a car accident to happen.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It was weird.
They were at the road, yeah.
Yeah, they were lingering on it. She was looking at the road. They did like this weird shot of like showing a green light. And I was like, they're gonna get fucking T-boned, and that's how she's gonna die. And I was like, that's gonna be great. Amazing. And maybe Peter Dinklage is driving that car. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
I would totally watch that movie.
Nope. They were fine.
This wasn't it.
Nope. And then we so we're kicking into Kate making amends, right? So she meets a neighbor, cue the Peter. Tears. It's super emotional, right? And
well, is it? I think it's supposed to be, but it's not.
No, it's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
They dance.
She's like,
they dance and it doesn't matter. It's like, what? Oh, what? Okay.
Well, it's so stupid because she goes, can we dance? And he looks at her and says, no, that ship has sailed a long time ago. And then she literally doesn't do anything. She just kind of looks at him more. Yeah. And he says, I thought you'd never ask. What?
Yeah.
And then they dance. Yeah. So we're watching soccer with the bad doctor. And then her dad calls.
Alienating all of our international fans. Sorry.
Perfect. Sorry. My bad. We're watching football. Yeah. Not to be confused with American football. Idiots. They're not even using their feet. So her dad calls, leaves a voicemail about how they need to make up and how he wants to connect with her again. And like the bad doctor is continuing to give her bad advice and says, you know what? Maybe you should make up with him. Like, no, your dad seems like a piece of shit. I think you're okay. Just letting it ride.
Yeah, just move on and, go
make amends with that pregnant lady. You seem better friends with her.
Yeah. She's pretty annoying, but yeah, go make amends with her.
But instead, she goes and has dinner with her dad.
I would call it a lunch, but yeah. So they
Like a lunch.
no, it's just lunch.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, it might have been a brunch. It was early in the morning. The light
You
was.
think it was a brunch?
I think so. I mean, it was still light out.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've had brunch, so I don't know.
Fair. Regardless, eating a meal with her father.
And they're chatting, kind of, not really though. And then we basically just, all right. So dad's
Not
got,
really.
Dad's
Yeah,
got
so dad's. Can we please have a pleasant meal, Russ? And we'll talk about this later.
classic dad line, right? Like, I don't want to have any emotional exchange right now. Which is basically the whole point of that was like, dad doesn't know how to communicate, and a lot of people don't. So don't be a fucking jerk about it.
You're right. But to her credit, she then says, there might not be a later.
All right. Come on.
And his response, his response is taking a big drink. His response is like,
glass of wine. She's like, I'm getting up. I'm out.
Yeah. And then,
she bails. She's running out to not running. She's making her way out of the fancy restaurant there.
There's so much movie left.
And then there really is. And then dad comes out, Treat Williams comes out, and he gives his tearful performance there. And he's like, hey, just tell me what to say. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. And then he gives this whole sob story of like,
but I love you.
Do you remember 20 years ago when you said you were glad that God brought you into this world, but you wish it was with a different father?
That's hard.
Killed me.
That's fucking hardcore. Like, what?
What? Yeah, a lot of God talk in this movie.
Tons of it.
And I was like, wait a second. Maybe the dad's definitely a bad guy, and I think he's making it worse because his daughter's dying soon.
I kind of wish they snuck in. Do you remember 20 years ago when you were glad Whoopi brought you into this world? Like, what?
Yeah, right?
What did you say?
Excuse me, Whoopi?
I'm sorry, what?
And she kind of takes this as an apology somehow, which I don't understand. Like, she hugs him. She's like, oh, I forgive you. And he's like, what?
Well, no. It's not this. Well, all right, hold on. So
that's what it seemed like to me.
No, it's finally him. He tells that little thing and he's like, that killed me. But then right after that, you missed a line there. He says like, he tells her like, I love you. And like, I've always loved you, blah, blah, blah. And that was, I think that was the thing. And she was just like, it wasn't the,
ugh.
Come on, man. Come on, pull some salt from your eyes. Come on, man.
I have no sympathy for the abusive dad.
He's not abusive. He just wasn't around. I guess that's abuse.
Emotionally abusive.
All right. Well, dad's got to work. They got to put bacon on the table.
Yeah. Americans love bacon for our international listeners.
So either way, Kate and dad have made up and she's happy with, right?
Yeah, she seems like she's like, oh, we're cool. It's all good.
Yeah, we good.
Those years of you not being there for me, it's cool. It's all cool.
We good. I just needed my dad to say I love you. That's all.
It's true. All of it.
And she's still making her rounds. So she heads to her preggers friend's house, right?
Yeah.
This is fucking obnoxious.
Knocking on pregnant door over there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Let it ride. Renee is her name, by the way.
What? That's her name?
This is like the first time they say it in the movie.
Really? I had no idea. I was like, I don't know. She's just pregger friend. So Kate
Renee
shows up and she's knocking on the door and the friend doesn't answer. And then she just starts talking through the door as if her friend is there. What if her friend's like in a shitter or something like that? And like, she just goes this whole spiel and it's just like, all right, guess I'll go. It's like, sorry, I missed
even
that.
worse, her friend is there and not opening the door still.
Yes. Her friend like walks up to the door and just collapses and cries. And it's like, open the fucking door.
You would think.
You are she is such a jerk.
Yep. And then I thought like, oh, well, at the very end, when Kate Hudson goes, all right, well, bye. and walks away. I was like, I thought she was going to come to the door. She never comes to the door.
She doesn't come to the door. I thought the same thing.
No.
But I
she
was
never
also
sees Kate Hudson alive again, really. Like she like sees her when she's like in her bedridden, dying state.
Yeah, but not like, life, full of life.
It was her last opportunity. Yeah. Huge.
Annoying.
Yeah. So then they go hang gliding.
I'm going to Dude, if you come knocking on my door, I'll answer, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, look, Russ, I know we've been through some times. I know.
Great times.
I've called you old once or twice, but I hope we can get past it.
Yeah. And I'll be inside be like, who's at the door?
Weeping, just weeping.
No, I'll be like, what? What? Who's at the door? Because I'm too old, right?
Right.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah. Tell me if you want to be on the podcast.
Jared, hit me up if you want to be on the podcast.
All right. I'll email you.
Yeah, fuck you. It's gmail.com. Oh my God. So, hang gliding. Let's do it.
Yes. Yeah. So again, no transition because why would you bother?
Nope.
Inexplicably, we're out in the car with Bad Doctor, and he's like, "You sure you still want to do this?" And she's like, "Yeah, definitely. Let's ride." And then they go do like hang gliding for 15 minutes. Okay.
Yeah,
weird.
Really.
Also, can't believe that she brought Bad Doctor instead of her friend, her lifelong friend that helped her win the tickets, right? Who was like, "Oh, you should call into that contest right now."
Right.
Why would you bring that friend, right?
Right. Or a good doctor who's like, "Hey, you know what?"
Yeah. And they're hang gliding around and they're like, "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me." I don't think that's true. I think that's demonstrably untrue from the events of the movie, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, there's a really funny scene of Kate Hudson next. She's because you're hang gliding, you have like a hang glider-y master. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know what are they called.
Like you got like a expert there.
Like person who hopes you don't die. Like,
well, a person who helps you not die.
Well, it helps you not die, but hopes that you don't die.
Teacher, instructor of
hang gliding.
Sure.
Hey, if you're a hang glider instructor,
what do you call yourself?
Yeah.
What's your job title?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
So, but did you catch like there's like old guy just sitting there like next to her? I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
It was really weird. Anyways.
Yeah, that guy is not going to end up doing a good job of this.
No, he'll end up dead before she does.
But I still don't care about any of these characters. They haven't done anything to make me interested in anyone. Like, especially not Bad Doctor. They're trying to play out Bad Doctor as this, like, he's the hot new thing. I don't care at all about him. No. I haven't learned anything about him.
No, I don't care about anyone. I care more about the hang gliding instructor who's the old guy and like, how does he got this shot?
I care about the guy from Wings. Like, I don't know.
No.
How's that guy holding up?
Yeah, how's he doing? You get this weird card from his coworker being like, "Hey, roses are red. I got ass cancer." What?
Now you do too, right? Is that what it said?
Yeah, I think so. Like what? And then
again, no transition. We cut.
Nope. We're now in a park. We were supposed to be done by the time you finish that. So we're Kate and Doc in a park. Kate doing some peeping Tom and some old couple making out by a food truck. Kind of weird, whatever. Doc finally nails a joke. He tells a joke and nails it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but also it's the joke that he nails is in response to the question. So, what are you going to do after I'm gone? And that's when he tells his joke. You're like, not the best time for that.
Yeah. Hey, Doc. You're not very good with these social situations, are you?
Right, and then instead of calling him out on it and making it a scene, she goes, "Well, my work here is done." Next scene.
And next.
Yeah. We're on to Cincinnati, yeah.
And then we're on to Cincinnati. And then we're I'll call it what it is. It's a dying montage.
Right. We're floating in the ocean, but then she wakes up.
It starts with it cuts. So she was in the park with the doctor and had this whole moment, and then it started raining, and then it cut to her being floating in water, like Peter Dinklage told her it would be.
Exactly.
And then she just sinks, and it's like, okay, she's dying. Got it. And then it just cuts to her waking up, nightmare, whatever, and then it cuts to her being in bed, and she's basically just, it's a dying montage. Friends are coming and going, family's coming and going, dogs there, blah, blah, blah.
Luckily, even her shitty dad, even her pregnant friend that she hates.
Yep.
They're all coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So she shows up. Yeah. Everyone's there. And yeah, definitely going on her way down. And then I think it cuts to Kate in bed, and she's
she has a quick phone call with her dad where they're apparently on better terms somehow.
Yeah. And she's like wrapping up some stuff, which is like, oh, she's wrapping up some things that are going to pay off later type of stuff. Hey, can you give this to so-and-so? And I'm, blah, 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 whatever. And then we get Academy Award winning Kathy Bates singing in bed.
Yeah. Which I don't care for.
Yeah. It was fine.
So then, quick cut again, no transition, because why would you?
No, we're in a park.
We can tell it's the end times.
Yeah, she's further dead.
And Kate Hudson ends up in the park with her dog. And it's the way they did this scene for IMDb TV is amazing, because it cuts to her like sitting in the park in a chair with her blanket on and the dog sitting next to her. And she's throwing a tennis ball.
She looks like
awful.
death. She looks like death, right? And she's in a cozy little chair thing and blanket, blah, blah, blah. Everything's laid out, right? Yeah. And her dog.
You want to get the ball? You want to get the ball? You want to get the ball? You go get it. Go get it. And she tosses the ball. Dog does not move. And then commercials.
What a terrible fucking transition.
I was like, oh yeah, this was totally worth doing that this way. Why would you edit it this way? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like there are people out there, I think, that edit things for like, oh, we're going to put this on TBS. Let's make sure that it's not the most awkward possible time to transition a scene.
No, it's timing. It's like 15, 15, 15, 15 all the way through.
It cuts back to the same scene. We're still at the park.
So then her friend is there. Her friend with what friend? What do we even know? Her
British friend, yeah.
Well,
I think this is Sarah. This is Sarah Walker.
I mean, she's not British, but
yeah, Sarah Walker is her name.
Yeah, well, that's the actress's name.
No, that's the character's name.
Oh, right. No, yeah, right. Sarah. Okay, Sarah Walker. Right. But the actress is British, but she's not. Yeah, right. Whatever. She's doing a very convincing job. So she's there, and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go run up this hill," and I was like, "This is kind of weird."
Want to go for a jog? No, I'm fucking dying. Look at me.
Yeah. Look
at me. Is what I would say.
So kind of weird thing, and they're hanging out, and
she they make a joke about it. She's like, "Oh, jogging's hard, huh?" She's like, "Yeah, for some of us, for sure, yeah."
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, you dumbass.
When's the bad doctor getting here?
And then Kate Hudson goes into talking about how she met God with her friend, right? And she's talking about it, and her friend's like, and she's like, "Oh, I got a bunch of wishes and they've all come true." And her friend's like, "Well, I wish you would, blah, blah, not die," which would have been like,
that's not going to work. You need an anal probe.
Yeah, that's not going to work. You need an anal probe and morphine and a morphine shooter.
Yeah.
That's all it takes to get 3 wishes, by the way. And then they cried, and they cried.
And like in that scene, she's also accusing her, like, "Hey, why didn't you wish not to die?"
Right.
like we said.
Yes. From the fucking very beginning. So you had 3 wishes, you didn't pick to not die.
And then my first thought was, wait a second, she's gonna die right now in the park? Ruthless.
I thought so too.
And she kind of does, yeah.
But she was definitely still breathing, but yeah.
Yeah, but she's brain dead basically for the rest of the movie.
So the ambulance shows up, and she's heading to the hospital, and then we got this
surrounded by mother and friends, luckily.
But this was, I really hated this. And then they're cutting between her and then her pregger friend, right?
Yeah.
Who is having a baby. And it was just like, this is...
Yeah, it was heavy-handed. And her dad being on an airplane. Those are the three scenes. The three scenes were hospital room, pregnant friend delivering her baby,
and then dad being on an airplane.
Dad on a plane.
Yeah. Dad's never there.
Oh, and bad doctor swimming. Because he's also not there.
Like, what? Why is it? What?
Which I kind of appreciate, because I'm like, he was a relatively recent addition to this equation.
But he loves her. Why wouldn't he? Like, she's literally dying.
Yeah, he knows she's in the last couple weeks of her life. Like, you would think that he would be on call kind of whenever. And instead, he's like treading water in the pool. But he does, to his credit, there's no credit. No, it's frustrating and annoying.
Yeah. No, I get
he like, remember that scene where he's got his like, oh, I sense a disturbance in the force face kind of thing in the pool.
He definitely
does.
does.
Yeah, it's the death of 1,000 Bonthans trying to steal the plans for the Death Star or some shit. Terrible, frustrating.
So annoying. Why is he in a pool?
And then he's like reading his text messages because it's like that's when he leaves, right? He leaves the pool, he gets in the car, he's driving towards the hospital, and he starts reading texts on his phone because it's 2011 and it was before people were like, oh, wait a second, text caused most of the accidents. We should probably stop doing that.
Oh, yeah, he totally was. I was like, oh, dude, don't fucking stop. No, and then while you're driving.
And then she starts narrating again, where it's like, at first I was like, oh, maybe she left him a nice voicemail, like a nice end of life voicemail. But
that's what I thought. I couldn't figure out. So when did she leave him this message then?
Right. And that's why I was kind of like, it's probably just narration in her mind of like, I loved you, and
But no, like, but she left him. It was a message for him.
Was it? I don't know. I'm not convinced because they don't really address that either. Like, he just kind of rolls up later on, and it's like, yeah, sure, you're dead now. Cool. I'm here.
He shows up. All he says is like, "Hey, I love you," and she smiles, and then she dies.
Yeah, and that's when she realizes that love was the meaning after all. The original premise of the movie of like being a strong, independent woman is stupid. What you need is an abusive doctor
to take advantage of you. And
right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
That's what you need. So that's actually how it ends. And we missed kind of like, so intercut between this though is her pregger friend having a child, and I was just like, so what is this supposed to be, like an analogy of like a life leaves and life enters? And it's like,
yeah, I think it's their soul being transferred. I think that baby is now Kate Hudson.
You think so?
Yep. And also, did you notice when she flatlines, she's not connected to anything? There's like no monitors hooked up to her that would like lead to this flatline sound.
Yeah, no,
happening.
she's just dead. That's it.
Yeah, she's just like sitting in the bed. There's nothing hooked up to her at all.
Oh my God.
And then it cuts to her dad on the plane having like a wistful look on his face. Like another, like, I sense a disturbance in the force. Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
This is all good. This is all good and cool.
And then we get Academy Award winning Kathy Bates crying.
Yep. We get Kathy Bates crying. We get all the friends crying. We get the narration from the Beyond the Grave of, so that's my story. Had some pretty amazing friends, didn't I?
So
what the fuck is this movie?
I was so confused because I was like, so I thought she starts the voiceover as a message to him, meaning she left a voicemail for him.
Well, implying that she left, but they don't explain that at all.
And does it connect to the voiceover in the very beginning of the movie, though? We talked about this, I know.
Not really, no.
No, it doesn't, right?
Because that's when she gives the voiceover of the, so that's my story. I think maybe, I guess it does if like she's starting with here's my story, and then she ends with, so that's the story. Then it cuts to the jazz band playing, right? This is when we get, Ivan Neville.
Yeah, and this is when we get the funeral party. The party that was in the trailer, they show we saw the party.
Yep, it's a funeral.
It's not a party; it's a funeral that she planned. She was just like, "Hey, everyone celebrate."
Yep.
this was the only good transition because she was in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Julian comes in. It's like, I love you. She smiles. She dies. And then she's sitting there, laying there, and then she opens her eyes and she starts this voiceover, and she opens her eyes
in a field. Yeah.
And then she, all of a sudden, it puts her in like a field, and she's just dancing around. It's like, finally,
this is great.
A transition.
Yeah, I guess a transition. It took the whole movie and took her to die, the main character to die, but we finally made it to a transition of some kind, I guess.
That kind of makes sense. And I was like, oh, so what happened? And then we cut to all the friends, everyone, all the characters in the movie hanging out.
To Marley,
celebrating. They're all hanging out, celebrating, having a good time, whatever shit's going on, blah, blah, blah.
There's a jazz band playing. There's lots of dancing in the park. Everyone's doing toasts. Kathy Bates, I feel like in this scene, does not know how to act, right?
No.
Like
she doesn't know how to have fun. She just knows how to like be serious. So that's fair.
Her face is sad, but she's also dancing, and it's a weird situation.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes and gives our British friend here a postcard, and I didn't get this part. It was like a postcard for an art exhibition that apparently Kate Hudson had set up for her ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kate Hudson basically just, I think, took her, $500,000, whatever was left of it, and helped her friend get an art exhibition. I don't know.
That's nice.
It was,
And then everybody's dancing and happy and sad, and like the bad doctor is staring off wistfully into the distance. Everyone's drinking, hanging out. Like she's hanging out on the couch with Whoopi, having some champagne.
Yeah.
And like, it's really fucked up. Like, that's just how the movie ends. Like it's a big party, a funeral. Yeah. And she's like off in the distance, just enjoying herself, living her dead life.
Yeah. Just across the way. That's it.
Now, did you catch this? Did you watch a little bit into the credits when you catch where she's like dancing around all of the people that are still alive and they don't recognize that she's there?
What? No.
It's really fucked up.
What?
She's like dancing around all the people and they can't see her. And she's like, woo.
What? No, I just watched because like they panned back from like the band playing and then like they rolled the credits and I was like,
I assumed you shut it off as fast as possible.
Yeah. No, I couldn't shut it off fast enough. That's awesome.
It's pretty fucked up. Yeah.
So, and then that's it. I think that's it, right?
I think that's it. Yeah.
I think we've thoroughly ruined everything.
Yeah. So if you bared with us this whole time, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. Episode 52 now. Who's counting?
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with another Trailer Trash. And in the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram at It's This Meets That, and we're ITMT Pod on Twitter.
Or if you feel no fashion, you can send us an email at itsthismeetsthat@gmail.com. As always, you can find all of our episodes at itsthismeetsthat.com. Thanks again for listening.